So is this doc file visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me proceed. Now, last day we have discussed about the sampling process, and we have shown that a uniformly sampled signal can be represented. The continuous time mathematical model for a uniformly sampled signal is one that represents the uniformly sampled signal by a train of impulses erected at the sampling instance, and the strength of each impulse is equal to the sample value at that instant. So that's what we have shown. Now just think about the inverse process. Suppose I give you a uniformly sampled signal as shown here. So simply a sample data signal is provided to you. So this sample data signal must have been obtained by sampling some continuous time signal, isn't it? So I just instruct you to get back the original signal. From this sample data signal, you have to get back the original signal. Obviously, the method that you should adopt is mathematical interpolation, isn't it? So can you say with certainty that if you carry out mathematical interpolation, however, maybe the strength of that interpolation technique, can you get back the original analog signal unambiguously? Is it possible?
No, sir.
Right. That means, according to what you have stated, this sample data signal, it can represent the samples of more than one, actually innumerable analog signals. So this sample data signal, in absence of any constraint, this may represent the samples of infinite number of analog signals. So there are infinite number of possibilities. How? I have shown here for the same sample data signal, I have shown 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 continuous time signals whose samples will be represented by the given sample data signal, isn't it? I have drawn 4 number of such continuous time signals, but there can be innumerable possibilities. Now, what would have happened, what is really happening is that, observe the black signal. This is the signal that you will get by mathematical interpolation. When you carry out mathematical interpolation to feed the sample data signal into an analog signal, the one that you will get back, the signal that you will get back, that will be the signal with minimum oscillation, isn't it? The smoothest signal, that is the signal that you will be able to get back from the sample data signal by interpolation, like this one. So this is the smoothest possible signal. So this is the signal that you will get by mathematical interpolation. But you are not certain that this is the signal which was sampled to get the sample data signal, isn't it? Because I have shown you there are several other possibilities. As a matter of fact, infinite number of possibilities. So this is a problem. Now what will happen if we decrease the sampling interval, make it very small? Then what will happen? These crests and troughs, এই উঁচু নিচু গুলো, crests and troughs, all right, the trough between two adjacent samples, we could not capture it. So if you just decrease the sampling interval, we could capture it. All right. Similarly, this crest. So the sampling interval has to be decreased. So the sampling frequency has to be increased. That is settled. But to what extent should it be increased? Will you make the sampling frequency extremely large? It's not that. Because if you make the sampling frequency extremely large, then what will happen? Then there will be abundance of data. There may be requirement of, if you are interested in offline processing, requirement of huge chunks of memory. All right. So that is not desirable. So we can easily say that with increase in the sampling frequency, the situation becomes better. But what is the constraint? What is the minimum sampling frequency with which the signal has to be sampled, so that after it is sampled, then if we try to convert it back into analog signal, it can be done without ambiguity. So we are trying to find out what is that minimum sampling frequency. All right. So that is our aim. That is our motivation. So write down this part.
Sir, you are not audible. Have you muted or my connection is poor? I cannot understand.
I am not muted. Everyone else, can you hear me?
So now it is
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Sir, it is audible, sir. Thank you.
নাসার কজন বলছো? দেখো কি প্রবলেম হচ্ছে তোমাদের এন্ডে, হয়তো হচ্ছে, আমি বুঝতে পারছি না।
শোনা যাচ্ছে স্যার, শোনা যাচ্ছে।
স্যার এখন শোনা যাচ্ছে, একটু আগে শোনা যাচ্ছিল না।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, audible.
হয়েছে লেখা?
Yes, sir.
Taking class. Hello. To explore the minimum value of sample rate required, I will consider a sinusoidal signal first. Why is it so? Because sinusoidal signals, they serve as the basic building blocks for all types of other signals. May they be periodic signals or non-periodic signals. For all types of signals, the sinusoidal signals, they serve as the basic building blocks. Say, if we can find out the constant on the sampling rate for sinusoid, then we can just extrapolate it, extend it to the general case of any signal. So we will consider an analog sinusoid. We will sample it and try to ascertain what is the minimum sampling rate. Rather, we will also deliberate at length on the effect of sampling a sine wave with a frequency that is less than the minimum frequency required. So that is we'll discuss that elaborately. And from that, we will land up with the minimum value of the sampling frequency. You should understand that if a sample data signal or uniformly sampled signal, it represents the sampled version of a large number of sinusoids, then the sinusoid that you will be able to get back from that sample data signal will be the one with the minimum value of frequency. Say we observe that the sample data signal can be the sampled version of sine waves of frequency f1, f2, f3, f4, f5, f6, like that. And of these frequencies, say small f1 is the smallest. Then From that sample data signal, if you want to fit it to a sine wave by mathematical interpolation, that will yield a sine wave with frequency small f1, which is the minimum. So we will start from that premise. So that observation has been written down here. Note down this part. I have shown here only one cycle of a sinusoid xt. Obviously, there will be infinite number of such cycles. Just for illustration, I have considered one. And say we start sampling this analog sinusoid at the instant t naught. This is the zero instant, and from an instant t naught, we start sampling the signal. Say corresponding to t is, what will be the time angle? Omega t naught. You can represent it by theta naught. So on sampling this analog sinusoid, we get its sampled version x tilde t. The sampling period is tau, sampling frequency is fs. Then what will be the expression for x and tau? What will be the expression for the samples? Not of x tilde t. I will not introduce that impulse representation. But what will be the values of x and tau? If I represent the samples by x and tau. That was suppose the expression for xt, angular frequency is omega, frequency in hertz is small f, capital T is the time period. To obtain the expression for the samples, just you have to replace t with n tau. Small n having values of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So if that be the case, then the expression for x and tau will not be actually given, it will be given by this expression. All right. Twice pi n small t by capital T plus theta. Why should that theta come in? Because that is the instant corresponding to the first sample. That means n equal to 0. So that's why if you, this is the expression, then x0, the first sample, you know that it will be a sine theta. So that's why I have a sine that twice pi f t0. So that's why I have introduced theta here. Here it is tau by t, or you may write what? F by fs, because reciprocal of tau is fs, reciprocal of capital T is f, small f. Let's represent this ratio fs by f or t, capital T by tau, by the symbol epsilon. Then x and tau will be obtained from this expression, where small n can take on values of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. We may call epsilon the time period in terms of number of samples, because just see, because it is the ratio of capital T by tau, it actually represents the number of samples over one complete period. So that's why we may call it the time period of the discrete time signal in terms of number of samples. If epsilon is very large compared to 1, that means if fs is very large compared to small f, or in other words, small tau is very small compared to capital T, obviously there will be samples that are extremely closely spaced. So you can recover the original analog signal from the sampled version unambiguously. But I have pointed out the problem of going for very high sampling rate. So we are interested in finding out the bare minimum value of sampling rate. And what's the effect of sampling at a frequency less than that bare minimum? That is the interesting part of the story. Nowadays, quite a few of the students, they move on to the finance sector after graduation, move on to the management, and some may move on purely to the finance sector. I am addressing this point because when this DSP was introduced first in our department as a subject, compulsory subject. Anyway, so at that time, books on digital signal processing, they were very few. Very, very few. And they were, of course, not written in very lucid manner. Keep aside that, at that time, we were gradually having an access to the internet in a very limited manner. Say we could connect to the internet through our landline, BSNL line, through an application called CalTiger. That was one of the important, major application, free application. So because I started teaching DSP, I was searching over internet the digital filters, some tutorial or something on digital filters. And just believe me that 95% of the material that I got, they were related to application of this digital signal processing in the finance sector, share market, stocks, etc., prediction of share values, all these things. So I was very disheartened. Anyway, I couldn't collect material from the internet. So I am pointing this out because digital signal processing does not necessarily mean that you have to work with it in a standalone mode. Application is multifaceted of this digital signal processing. The fundamentals, therefore, are to be understood clearly. Don't think that if you move away from the core engineering sector, you will not require it. Anyway, so come back to our original discussion. Now, from that extremely high value of sampling frequency, I move on to a very low value of sampling frequency in case 2. What will happen if we sample the analog sinusoid at a frequency that is less than small f? So if fs is less than small f, what really would happen? So that is case 2. Have you completed drawing this figure? This is not very important anyway.
Yes, sir.
Come to case 2. When epsilon 1 is less than 1, that is fs is less than small f. tau is greater than capital T, same thing. I have considered here 1, 2, 3 cycles only. That is sufficient for the for what I want to illustrate. And say because small tau is greater than capital T, if we start sampling here, we will have a sample here. Next sample will be somewhere here at the peak. Third sample will be here. So this interval is tau, this interval is tau. I have stopped after considering 3 samples. If I had continued, what would have been the case? You can easily see that if you want to feed these samples to a sine wave, this will be the deconstruction. If I had considered more number of samples, I would have obtained such negative half cycle, isn't it? That means here, suppose I give you these samples, 1, 2, 3, and some more samples, and I tell you that these are the samples that have been obtained by sampling an analog sinusoid. Try to reconstruct, get back the original analog sinusoid. Obviously, if you use mathematical interpolation, you will end up with a sinusoid that is represented by this dotted line. That means a sinusoid having a frequency much lower than small f. Is that clear? Much lower than small f. So that is easily depicted by this diagram. Question is, well, we get that we will get back a sinusoid with much lower frequency than small f. But what will be that frequency? In order to find that out, we consider a subrange. Fs greater than 0, less than f. In that range, we find out another subrange. Fs greater than f by 2, less than f. All right. Over that subrange, now if you observe the expression for x and tau, this was the expression. All right, this was the expression. I just add twice pi n and subtract twice pi n here in the argument. So that's what is done here. Added twice pi n minus twice pi n. So comes out as this expression. Then if you substitute the expression for epsilon, I get it as twice pi n f minus fs by fs plus theta, sine of that. Therefore, x and tau is also the sampled version. It was the sampled version of a sinusoid with frequency small f. We find here that it can also be the sampled version of an analog sinusoid with frequency small f minus small fs. Not only that, we can also see that if you maneuver it in this manner, you add 4 pi n and subtract 4 pi n. That also you can do. Then you get the expression for x and tau as minus a sine twice pi n 2fs minus f divided by fs minus theta. So these are the two possibilities. These are the two frequencies other than small f, but less than small f, such that x and tau will also represent the sampled version of analog sinusoids with those frequencies. Oh, sorry, this one and that one. Either small f minus fs and also 2fs minus f. But from x and tau, if you want to recover the original analog sinusoid, there are 3 cases, small f and these 2 cases, f minus 2fs less than small f, 2fs minus f less than small f. But if you, sorry, f minus fs less than small f, 2fs minus f less than small f. So of these two, depending on the actual value of the sampling frequency, either this one or that one will be smaller. So from x and tau, you can get back an analog sine wave with frequency either f minus fs or 2fs minus f, whichever is smaller. That's what I have written down here. Depending on the exact value of small fs of the two frequencies, any one can be smaller. So I use this term for the first time. So the alias of small f is f minus fs or 2fs minus f, whichever is smaller. I have considered that range. Fs greater than f by 2, less than f. If Fs were less than f by 2, then I will show next, that we may find a still smaller frequency that will be the alias of small f. Do you understand what I have stated in this part? X and tau, it was the sampled version of sinusoid with frequency small f. So now there is, I have shown by mathematical derivation that it can be the sampled version of two sine waves with frequency less than f. One sine wave has frequency f minus fs, another has frequency 2fs minus f. So which one will x and tau actually represent? Which one will you get back on fitting x and tau to a sine wave? Obviously the smaller of this frequency and that frequency. So we call that frequency, which is the smallest, as the alias of small f. So we say that small f, a sinusoid with frequency small f, has been aliased to a sine wave with frequency either f minus fs or 2fs minus f, as the case may be. So write down this part. If you miss something, please let me know. I'll then scroll back. For Fs less than f by 2, we may find a still smaller frequency. That will be the alias of small f. Let us see how. Next subrange of interest is Fs greater than f by 3 less than f by 2. First, before proceeding, let me point out another thing, that I have considered the subrange as Fs greater than f by 3 less than f by 2. Here it was this range, Fs greater than f by 2 less than f. Now, what do you think? I mean, will it be Fs greater than f by 2 less than f, or Fs greater than equal to f by 2 less than equal to small f? This is correct. This one, because I will equal to f by 2, Fs equal to f, Fs equal to f by 3. Those cases will be dealt with separately. So it is deliberately I have written down in that manner. It is, you cannot write it here, Fs greater than equal to f by 3. Well, from that you may derive the expression, it's fine. But those cases are very important cases. So those cases have been treated separately. So over this subrange, the first is as before, you add 4 pi n, subtract 4 pi n to get this expression. What else could you do? You could add 6 pi n and subtract 6 pi n. That's what I have done after this. Therefore, in this case, for this subrange, xn tau can be the sampled version. It is the sampled version of small f. All right, sinusoid with frequency small f. It can also be the sampled version of sinusoids with frequency small f minus 2 fs, or 3fs minus f, whichever is smaller. Which will be smaller, that will be governed by the exact value of fs in comparison to small f. So any one of these two, whichever is smaller, will be the alias of small f. So this phenomenon is called aliasing. And aliasing is taking place due to undersampling. Sampling at a rate that is below the minimum required. So that was the subrange fs greater than f by 3 less than f by 2. Next subrange can be fs greater than f by 4 less than f by 3. So you may continue in this way. So the complete range fs greater than 0 less than f can be divided into these subranges. And we may then obtain a generalized expression. I have introduced a numerical example here.
So can you scroll up
Yes, yes.
this? Okay, sir.
So you have been asked to consider an analog sinusoid with frequency 300 Hertz. And you are interested in this sub-range. Fs greater than f3 less than f by 2. Suppose the sampling frequency Fs is 110 Hertz. Therefore, Fs lies in this range, 110 Hertz. What are the two possibilities? One is f minus 2 Fs, which is 80 Hertz. 3 Fs minus f is 30 Hertz. So here, the alias of that 300 Hertz sine wave is 30 Hertz. If in the same sub-range, you have a sampling frequency 145 Hertz, then sub-range remains same. 145 Hertz falls in this sub-range. All right, less than 150, greater than 100. F minus 2 Fs is 10 Hertz and 3 Fs minus f is 135 Hertz. So here the alias is 10 Hertz, the lower of the two. Now, if you have this sub-range Fs less than, greater than f by 4, less than f by 3, x and tau, if you add 6 pi n and subtract, as before, you get that x and tau can be the sampled version of a sinusoid with frequency f minus 3 Fs. Similarly, if you, instead of 6 pi n, adding 6 pi n and subtracting that, if you add 8 pi n and subtract that, you will get x and tau by this expression. This is the expression. So x and tau can also be the sampled version of a sinusoid with frequency 4Fs minus f. So which one will x and tau actually represent, or which one will you get back? If you try mathematical interpolation, it will be the lowest, the lower of these two. So the alias of f for this subrange is either f minus 3Fs or 4Fs minus f, whichever is smaller. We are still considering case 2. Now generalize for the range fs greater than 0 less than f. You can generalize as any subrange by this expression. For fs greater than f by k plus 1 less than f by k, where k takes on values of 1, 2, 3, etc. So because of the smallest frequency sine wave that is represented by x and tau has a frequency either this one or that one, whichever is smaller. The sinusoid that is actually represented by x and tau, or that will be reconstructed from x and tau by discrete time to analog, discrete time to continuous time converter, or digital to analog converter. It will have a frequency f prime equal to f minus kfs or f prime equal to k plus 1 fs, whichever is smaller. So this is the general observation. For that range, fs greater than 0 less than f. Write down this part. So that was up to Fs less than F. Tell me what will happen if Fs is equal to F.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yes, yes, please.
Yes, sir. In the above, that means there is written that frequency k plus 1 into fs minus f or f dash, the same frequency is written. The
Oh,
first one should be f
sorry.
minus k fs.
Sorry. Oh, extremely sorry. Huh? Thank you.
Yes,
ঠিক আছে এবার?
yes, sir.
If you sample at a frequency equal to small f, what will happen?
The alias would be 0. Alias of f.
Why do you think it will be 0? I mean, frequency will be 0. What does that mean?
It would be a constant.
It will be a DC,
Yes, DC.
constant DC. But there is something more to add. I have considered here that the sampling starts at T naught. If T naught is 0, what will happen? Or if T naught is such that the sampling starts at some zero crossing, what will happen? It will yield no information, isn't it? All samples will have 0 values. This is case 3. So just see here, provided T naught is, provided that the sampling does not start at any zero crossing, this was the expression for x and tau. So for n equal to 0, it's a sine theta, and for all other values of n equal to 1, n equal to 2, n equal to 3, etc., all the samples will have the same value, a sine theta. So it's a DC. Reconstructed signal is a DC. And samplings at zero crossings yield no information. That is not only in case of Fs equal to F, but the same case will be there if Fs is equal to F divided by L. All right, at all such frequencies. If Fs is equal to F by L, where L can take on these values of 1, 2, 3, etc. L equal to 1 corresponds to that case. L equal to 2, 3, etc. They correspond to the boundaries of those sub-ranges. এই যে এখানে যে সাব-রেঞ্জ গুলো কনসিডার করেছিলাম তার বাউন্ডারি গুলো সমস্ত Fs equal to F by 4, Fs equal to F by 3, these boundaries, they are represented by Fs equal to F by L. So that is here a general observation. So same observation is also here. Have a look at case 4. Epsilon is greater than 1, less than 2. What will happen now? First, I have tried to illustrate. Although this sketch is very poor, just 1 minute. This is case 4. Now see here, in this case, tau is greater than capital T by 2, less than capital T. So I have considered an arbitrary value of tau satisfying that condition. Here you can see these are the samples. I have just considered a few samples only. But if these are the samples, if you could generate more samples, you will obtain a sine wave like this through these samples. All right. So here also the samples, they from it, if you want to get back an analog sinusoid, then that analog sinusoid will have a frequency that is less than the frequency f, isn't it? But what's that frequency quantitatively? To do that, I have just again proceeded in the same manner, twice pi n minus twice pi n, that has been done. You land up with minus a sine twice pi fs minus f by fs into n. So here x and tau can also be the sampled version of a sine wave with frequency fs minus f, which is less than small f. So here there is an undersampling still exists, and the alias of small f is fs minus f. This is the alias of small f. All right. হয়েছে?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What will happen if Fs is equal to twice F? If Fs is equal to twice F, all samples will have the same magnitude, but alternate samples will have opposite signs. So alternate samples will have opposite signs of same magnitude. Opposite signs with same magnitude. Here we say that the frequency small f of the original signal, it has been folded back into this interval. F prime greater than 0 less than Fs by 2. This term folding back is often used to represent the phenomenon of aliasing.
Sir, please scroll up.
Oh, yes. So that is when epsilon is equal to 2. Fs is twice f, tau is t by 2. So xn tau will be equal to a sine pi n plus theta. So for even n it will be a sine theta, for odd n it will be minus a sine theta. And for theta equal to 0 or theta equal to pi, all the samples will have zero values, isn't it? Theta equal to 0, theta equal to pi, or theta equal to twice pi, like that. So if you start the sampling at some zero crossing, all samples will have zero values. Otherwise, this is the situation. Alternate samples, they will have opposite signs but same magnitude.
Sir,
Bolo.
sir, in case 4, yes, sir. Sir, in case 4, we have only considered the alias as fs minus f. Why not 2f minus fs in case 4? That means epsilon between 1 to 2.
যদি 2f minus fs হয় আমাকে বলো, চেঞ্জ করব আমি তাহলে।
ওকে স্যার,
চিন্তা করে দেখো।
ওকে স্যার।
Now here, what will really happen is that if you don't perform sampling at the zero crossings, these samples will have some non-zero value, isn't it? And therefore, under such a situation, what will happen is that the frequency information is preserved. If you sample an analog sine wave with frequency fs equal to twice f, and if the samplings do not, they are not at zero crossings, then your frequency information will be preserved. Because in every half cycle, you have a sample, and that is opposite to sign compared to the sample in the adjacent half cycles. So the frequency information is preserved, but the amplitude and phasor information, they are not preserved. Why? X and tau here, just 1 minute. Sorry, someone is. জানি না, আমি ক্লাস নিচ্ছি। Just 1 minute, I'm just coming. Extremely sorry. So what I was saying is that the frequency information is preserved, but the amplitude and phase information, they are not preserved. Now x and tau, it was a sine theta. So you can also represent x and tau as b sine pi n plus alpha. It was a sine pi n plus theta. You can also represent it as b sine pi n plus alpha, that is b sine 2 pi n by 2 plus alpha, such that b sine alpha is equal to a sine theta. Now, that condition will be satisfied for innumerable combinations of B and alpha. All right, innumerable combinations of B and alpha. Therefore, in this case, the amplitude and phase response, they are not preserved. I have just considered here two reconstructions, which are of different phase and amplitude. There can be innumerable such reconstructions, which will have the same frequency as the original sine wave, but their amplitude and phase, they will be different. So it's not, in that sense, it's not possible to uniquely get back the original analog sine wave. Rekha Ganti. In many textbooks, truly speaking, overwhelmingly large number of textbooks, they say that the sine wave has to be sampled at least twice the sampling frequency. But truly speaking, it should be greater than twice the frequency of the sine wave. Because when you sample at twice the frequency, this is the problem.
Sir, please scroll up.
Yes. When Fs is greater than twice F, in whatever way you try to maneuver this expression for x and tau, what will that land up with? You can just, what you can do at most is that you can add here twice by mn. If you add here twice by mn, you can easily understand that if n is an integer, m can take on values of 1, 2, 3, etc. And small n obviously is an integer. Therefore, if you twice pi times an integer is added to this argument, it will remain same as before, a sine twice pi n by epsilon plus theta. So only this type of maneuvering can be done. All right. Now, if you just simplify it further, this is what you will get. You just take out small n and twice pi from these two expressions. There will be a summation of mfs plus f. Or another type of maneuvering will lead to this expression minus a sine twice pi mfs minus f n by fs minus theta, m equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. So in both these cases, mfs plus f and mfs minus f, এখানে বোধহয় এটা 2 থেকে শুরু হবে। In both these cases, these mfs plus f and mfs minus f, they will represent sine waves with frequency that is greater than capital F. So if you consider all those sine waves with frequency small f, mfs plus f, mfs minus f, all these frequencies, what is the lowest one? Small f. Therefore, from this case, in this case, if that condition is satisfied while sampling, you can get back the original analog sinusoid unambiguously. All right. Write down this part.
Sir,
হ্যাঁ,
for the second part, why m can't be equals to 1?
এখানে দেখো তো 1 কি হতে পারে, আমি ঠিক আমার খেয়াল হচ্ছে না এখন। মানে এটা গ্রেটার 1 হলে এটা তো fs মাইনাস f হবে, আর fs হচ্ছে তোমার গ্রেটার দেন টুয়াইস f। হ্যাঁ, 1 হতে পারে, ঠিকই বলেছো।
Yes.
If you missed something, I will go up. উপরের গুলো লিখতে পেরেছো? হুম। এখানে দেখো প্রত্যেক হাফ সাইকেলে অন্তত দুটো করে স্যাম্পল আছে। So can we land up with any formula for obtaining the aliased frequency? Any generalized formula? Because if you appear in an exam where the question is of MCQ type, then if you are provided with certain values of Fs and F, obviously there may be cases where, I mean, you cannot find it out quickly. This is the expression. If a sinusoid with frequency f is sampled at a rate fs less than twice f, the alias of f is magnitude of nfs minus f. What is n? What is not written here is what is meant by capital N. Capital N is an integer. It's a positive integer for which this magnitude is minimum. For which this magnitude is minimum. So you can easily cross-check with these cases. I mean, I have given some numerical example. You can just cross-check with those cases. Let me stop today here. So tomorrow at 10.
Sir, can you please repeat what is n?
It is the n is an integer, positive integer, whose value is such that magnitude of nfs minus f is minimum.
Okay, sir.
যে নিউমেরিক্যাল এক্সাম্পলটা আমি দিয়েছিলাম ওখানে অ্যাপ্লাই করে দেখো, দেখে বুঝতে পারবে।
Okay, sir.
So can you scroll down a little bit? No, sir, scroll down.
ডাউন মিনস
মানে
এগুলো তো পরে হবে।
No. Yes, yes. There.
হলে বলো, বন্ধ করবো, লগ আউট করবো। কালকে 10টার সময়। কালকে তো আমার পরে এডিশন নেবেন, তাই তো কথা হলো আমার সঙ্গে আগের দিন। হয়েছে আশা করি। হয়েছে, লিখেছো তো? দেখো তোমাদের স্টুডেন্ট স্ট্রেংথ হচ্ছে 60-এর ঘরে, প্রেজেন্ট আছো এখন 28, আমার মনে হয় অ্যাটমোস্ট ছিঁড়ে হচ্ছে 35। এটা কিন্তু চলবে না, আমি মানে ভালো কথা বলছি। অন্যদের বলো অ্যাটেন্ড করতে, নাহলে বিপদে পড়ে যাবে।